Twin flames can never truly be separated. This is because they are energetically connected at a soul deep level. In fact, twin flames are more connected energetically to one another than they are to or could be to any other soul on this planet. Yes, we can feel very strong energetic connections to our soul family, soulmates both platonically and romantically, because we share similar core soul frequencies to these members of our soul family. However, our twin flame shares our identical core soul frequency. It's not just similar, but exactly the same. They radiate essentially the same essence to us at a core soul level. And by the law of attraction, like attracts like. This means two identical core soul frequencies, two twin flames encapsulated in two separate physical bodies, will be drawn together magnetically at all levels of their being, and are eternally tied together with this unbreakable energetic bond that is inherent, inevitable when you are essentially the same, made of the same stuff, the same soul essence as this other person. So twin flame separation isn't a true divide, a true separation between twin flames, but rather a perceived physical, mental, or emotional disconnect from your twin flame that takes place in the 3D, in the physical world around us in some way. Throughout this period of what we call twin flame separation, the ironic truth is you are still always energetically, spiritually, on a soul level in the 5D, connected to your twin flame just as intimately as ever before. And in fact, sometimes because of this perceived disconnect, this separation in the 3D world, the 5D feeling of connectedness can actually increase with your twin flame during times of separation. With a usual, what we would call a breakup with someone romantically, we feel a lot of pain, and you may even feel some of these physical signs and symptoms that I'm about to share with you that occur during a twin flame separation. However, a key difference is when it comes to a separation from a traditional, conventional lover within a typical love relationship. Although these separations cause us immense amounts of pain that we can feel energetically, sometimes spiritually, definitely physically and emotionally, the thing about these conventional breakups is this pain hits us and then tends to dissipate over the course of time. This happens because when we experience a breakup, traditionally speaking, we are cutting ties with this person. Although within a traditional love relationship, there is, of course, still an energetic tie, an energetic bond with this person. These are usually ties that we forge ourselves with them through interactions in the 3D world, through our thoughts about them, loving, positive thoughts about them. We form these kinds of bonds. I don't want to say artificially because I don't want to downplay or devalue traditional love relationships, but compared to a twin flame connection, artificial may be a good word for these bonds. They are something manufactured, something that we consciously create, not something that inherently exists within us. When it comes to our soul connections, twin flames, even our romantic soulmates, these are all not connections we artificially forge or consciously manufacture. These are bonds that already existed within us energetically. We are always connected to these people, to our soul family, our platonic and romantic soulmates, and to our twin flame. regardless of whether we have even yet met them in the physical world, and regardless of whether we disconnect from them after meeting them in the physical. Now, when it comes to twin flame connections, we will experience many of the traditional kinds of feelings that many would get with a romantic breakup, but with additional signs and symptoms that are exclusive to a twin flame connection. And I will be getting into that later on. But a key here is, and just circling back to what I was saying before, is that within traditional romantic relationships, these separation feelings, symptoms, negative things that come up within us as a result of breaking up or leaving this person, separating from them in some way, these signs and symptoms dissipate over time. In a twin flame connection, these signs and symptoms not only do not dissipate over the course of weeks, months, years, but sometimes they intensify. Now, when I say signs and symptoms, I don't necessarily mean that all of the negative signs and symptoms I'm mentioning, you have to feel 24/7 in separation with a twin flame. Otherwise, you are not a twin flame. That is not at all what I'm saying, because very often we can feel these signs and symptoms and feelings in waves. It's not necessary for them to be happening to you 24/7 in order for you to be a twin flame. In fact, very often what happens through this period of twin flame separation is we find ourselves flipping between feelings of deep trust, surrender, openness, feeling connected to this person in spite of the distance emotionally, physically, mentally between us, flipping between that and then our human self perceiving that separation again and re-experiencing all of those negative signs, symptoms, and sensations. And this flipping back and forth happens as part of the healing process through this period of separation. Because once we reach that point where we are secure and steady within those feelings of deep surrender, openness, trust, in that fully healed and energetically open state, that is actually when it's essentially a sign that we've cleared out the blocks that needed to be released through this period of separation, and we are now simply standing there magnetic for our twin flame reunion, to call back in our twin flame. When we reach that point of true, steady, secure surrender within that period of separation, that is a green flag, essentially a sign that our twin flame is making their way back to us, because very often, these periods of separation happen as kind of a sacred space or pause in the physical 3D component of the twin flame connection in order to give us and our twin the space to work through or heal through or release something that needs to be released at that time. So in many ways, these times of separation are divinely intended or created by our higher selves to preserve the connection for the future, to give us the opportunity, the space from one another in the physical to undergo very intense transformations energetically, spiritually, emotionally beneath the surface. So with all of that being said, I do want to share with you some of the most common twin flame separation signs and symptoms that are reported by twin flames who are going through this period of time where there is some kind of a perceived disconnect between them, whether this is a literal physical distance going through some kind of a breakup of sorts, as we would call it if you were someone in a relationship with your twin flame, or this could also just be feeling emotionally or energetically disconnected from them in the physical in some way. So this period of separation will be unique to you and your connection, and some twin flames may not even experience this separation. It's all about what you've intended and what your twin flame has intended along with you on a soul level. So the first twin flame separation sign is any kind of strange, unexplainable physical sign that has no known medical cause. So this is all under the umbrella of body intuition. When I say body intuition, I'm referring to how we process energy, we register energetic signals through what we would call, or sometimes call, the sixth sense, our extrasensory perception. We register these energy signals through our being at all its layers: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the energetic, the spiritual, etc. Very often when we think of intuition, we think of what pops into our mind. So how we register these energetic signals through our mental body. But very often we can receive intuitive hits through these other layers of our being as well, including our physical body. So very often twin flames perceiving this disconnect will find that they have random, unexplainable physical pain in their body. Very often this pain is centralized around the stomach area, the solar plexus chakra, and the heart chakra. Although I can also think of many instances where people have reported feeling it in the crown chakra as well, in the head, as headaches or lightheadedness. These can emerge as a myriad of various different signs and symptoms, but the key thing that ties all of them together is it's happening through the physical body. It's something that you would perceive to be negative or unwanted. It's uncomfortable in some way, and you've explored medical causes for this, and there is no known medical cause. It seems to be completely random and out of the blue and unexplainable. This is our energy. Well, there's a few things going on here. So the first thing that's happening very often is because, again, these times of separation are sacred spaces for us to heal or work through something within ourselves, to work through these energy blocks. So very often these pains could come like centralized around certain chakra centers through which we are healing or working through some kind of particular block. So again, I always have to say this, but be sure to check with a doctor or a medical professional first to be sure that these symptoms have no known medical cause. But if the cause is medically unexplainable, then you may find that exploring the chakra centers connected with the location of the physical sensation could help you potentially come into some knowledge of why you are experiencing this feeling or sensation. So for example, if you're having headaches or feelings of lightheadedness, this can sometimes be a sign of something healing or opening up within your third eye or crown chakra, which are connected to, of course, the forehead kind of area and the top of the head extending out above the head. So very often this is a sign you are learning how to trust your divine guidance, your own intuition. If you are experiencing throat tightness, this is something I personally experienced very often through my own twin flame separation. This could be a sign that you are learning how to speak your truth, how to stand firmly in your truth, and to know that for yourself and to be confident enough in yourself to express that truth clearly to others, to those around you, to radiate that authenticity. If you experience strange heart sensations, like a feeling as though your heart is racing at certain times, sometimes it's a feeling like your heart is literally breaking open. This is very common, especially during these times of separation. This may be a sign that you are releasing, purging some very deeply held limiting beliefs about your worthiness of love that could even come from early experiences, formative romantic experiences in your life. And on it goes. There are so many different connection points to these different chakras and physical sensations we experience during these times of twin flame separation. But rather than judging these physical signs and symptoms, you may find it really beneficial to simply be curious, to get curious about why you are feeling certain things, to trust that if you are feeling something physically or emotionally, there is a cause, there is a root cause or reason for those sensations. This is your intuition speaking to you in some way, not something going wrong within you. So another physical symptom you might experience is an interruption in your circadian rhythm. So this may manifest itself as waking up at random times in the middle of the night, feeling very restless, finding it difficult to sleep at night, feeling just very emotionally or physically overwhelmed in your body or in your emotions, especially at night. Your thoughts might race at night. You might physically have an intensification of those other physical symptoms at night. This very often happens because when we are asleep or around the window of the time that we are sleeping, so right before we sleep and right after we wake up, this is when our conscious mind is the most relaxed and our subconscious mind is the most open and impressionable. This means that because we receive energy from others through our subconscious, including our twin flame, we may be more capable of sensing energetically, physically, emotionally, and feeling what they are experiencing at these windows of time. And we are also just more capable of feeling our own energetic healing and shifting that's happening within us and within our twin flame connection more generally at these times close to our sleep time. You may also find yourself waking up at times that your twin flame is waking up in the middle of the night, although, of course, if you aren't in 3D communication with them, you may have no way of verifying this, but very often twin flames in separation, regardless of the fact that they are physically or emotionally disconnected in the 3D, they will actually continue to unconsciously mirror each other's routines, behaviors, feelings, sensations, habits. So you might find yourself waking up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and later on you may discover that your twin flame was awakening at those same times in the middle of the night. So essentially your physical body was mirroring their disrupted circadian rhythm or pattern. And of course, this can go back and forth during these times of separation when you are both feeling and perceiving the disconnect and then sensing the other's pain as a result of that disconnect. You can see where these negative signs and sensations can really build up and up into this whirlwind of very intense and often painful experiences. The second twin flame separation sign is intensifying 5D experiences. So when I talk about the 5D, I'm referring to anything above or beyond our physical world experiences, things that we can see, feel, touch, catalog, fully consciously understand. These are experiences like telepathy. When I talk about twin flame telepathy, and I could do whole separate videos, and I have done whole separate videos just on twin flame telepathy, but we're talking about the effects of this energetic bond with our twin flame through which we are constantly, always exchanging energy with one another 24/7, 365 days a year. And telepathy is just our conscious mind's way of interpreting this energy we are always receiving from our twin flame. Very often, twin flames will find that these telepathic experiences actually intensify when they are apart, because when we aren't in physical 3D communication with our twin flame, what happens is this energy seeks other forms of expression. So very often we will have more intense dreams about our twin flame. We may have what I refer to as phantom touches, which is where you can feel your twin flame as though they are holding your hands, perhaps touching your arm, putting their arms around you, standing close to you. You might feel the warmth of their body even when you are alone and they are hundreds of miles away. You could feel as though you almost feel their heartbeat, or feel as though you yourself are almost having a kind of double heartbeat because you are picking up on your twin flame's heartbeat. So there are so many kind of strange and, by society's standards, unexplainable symptoms of this energy exchange that we refer to as telepathy, whether it's telepathy happening through physical body sensations, again, the body intuition, or it's happening through our mind, hearing your twin flame's voice in your mind, or suddenly feeling as though you have a window of insight into what they are thinking, feeling, seeing, experiencing. All of these things are possible, and in fact, usually tend to intensify during times of separation from your twin flame. Sign number 3 of twin flame separation, and perhaps one of the most difficult things to cope with, because these physical signs and symptoms, and even the mental signs, all of these things can be very painful, but it's something that is identifiable. It's like you can pinpoint, okay, I had this strange dream experience about them where I was receiving some kind of 5D communication. You can pinpoint, okay, I'm having this feeling of a little bit of lightheadedness, and it has no medical cause. This could be some kind of shift happening in my crown chakra. The thing about this hollowness and emptiness is it is pervasive and very susceptible to self-judgment. So very often, because we can't directly and immediately connect this with a specific twin flame sign or symptom, we tend to self-judge it, saying, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling so empty? Why is life feeling so hollow? Why am I feeling so lost? So if you are experiencing this, first, I want you to know you aren't alone in this. Nothing is going wrong with you or within this connection. This feeling of hollowness very often comes as a sort of come down from all of the fifth dimension 5D experiences, and for many of us, a kind of love bubble phase that occurred initially with our twin flame. I often call the twin flame connection the Marianas Trench of connections, because the Marianas Trench is the deepest point in the ocean, and this is the most deeply held soul connection we can share with another being on this planet. So what happens is, just like touching that deepest point in the ocean makes every other part of the ocean look shallow by comparison, the same tends to happen when we touch with a twin flame in this lifetime. When we realize that our soul is capable of this depth of feeling, this depth of soul connection that literally touches and illuminates every area of ourselves and our lives, suddenly perceiving a disconnect from this person, physically, mentally, or emotionally, losing from our ego's perspective. Of course, we can't truly lose it, but the ego perceives that we're losing this deepest point of contact with our soul's other self, essentially our mirror self, someone who shares our core soul frequency that is radiating from the deepest level of our being. This perceived disconnect from that is so jarring and suddenly can make it feel as though we've been seeing the world in color and now we're going back to black and white. But the more confusing layer on top of this is that many people around us have only ever, in this metaphor, seen the world in black and white, seen the world from their own kind of limited perspective of love, connection, and relationship, and have not experienced a twin flame connection. So it would be like trying to explain color to someone who has only seen in black and white, and this can be very confusing. It can cause life in the world around us to feel very dull, very hollow, very empty, and as a result, we can feel a sense of depression or deep levels of grief like we have never felt before and like no one around us can fully understand. The fourth sign of twin flame separation is, and this naturally follows as a result of everything we've been speaking about, but naturally it can be very challenging to function in day-to-day life, meaning at our job, with our work, within our family, going about our day-to-day rituals and routines. We can feel as though we're in kind of a fog or a haze, and simultaneously as though there is this jarring feeling of something being missing. This is perhaps the most commonly reported sensation I've heard from twin flames in separation, is this feeling as though something is just wrong, something is just missing without this person. And yes, others can experience this to some degree with a usual breakup. But again, the difference is here, those usual breakup feelings of loss, of missingness, they both dissipate over time and they can be replaced. Although it can take time to replace them, that feeling of hollowness or like something is missing from our lives can be replaced as we go out and meet other people. We can fill that void with other kinds of connections. The thing about twin flame connection and separation specifically is that when we try to fill that perceived void, that perceived loss or disconnect of our twin flame with other people or connections, again, everything just feels shallow. Even when we are trying to do this over the course of months or even years, we will always have this pervasive feeling beneath the surface that there is this, for lack of a better word or term, like a person-shaped void within us that can only be filled by the outline of our twin flame. It's like, and of course, I'm not meaning that in the literal physical sense. I mean it energetically. It's like that person has a certain energetic signature, and only that signature can fit perfectly within that void, that sense of a void within us. And again, I know that many of you will say this. I'm speaking from a very human, physical perspective here, because this is how we experience twin flame separation. But again, I always like to emphasize there is no true separation. This is just what our physical self is perceiving through this process. So the fifth and final sign I'm going to mention here of twin flame separation, and again, I could go on and on about the various different signs, and you may experience all of these, none of these, or you may experience only certain ones to a certain degree. We do all have a very unique and individualized twin flame journey, so only take what connects with you. But the final sign that I have written down here in my notes is that when you are in the separation from a twin flame, you may have intense emotional releases that seem to come out of nowhere. And again, this is similar to what many people experience in a traditional breakup on a surface layer, but beneath the surface, it is very different. What I mean by that is, in a traditional breakup, when you experience this emotional release, you are essentially grieving something that is gone. You have left someone in your past, you have broken up with someone, you are releasing this person's energy from you. Within a twin flame connection, we are grieving the perceived absence of something that is still energetically, strongly ever present with us, something we can still feel with us every moment of the day, something that doesn't go away or disappear even though it seems to be physically absent. And at the same time, these emotional releases, when it comes to a twin flame, can literally have no known trigger. They can happen at completely random times, or even in moments where we are happy and then suddenly get hit with this wave of emotion. This is because very often the emotional release is happening from energy we are picking up on that is not consciously our own. So either some kind of healing or shift that is taking place within us energetically, within our twin flame connection beneath the surface, or something that our twin flame is processing in that moment that we are picking up on energetically through that natural telepathic connection, that telepathic bond we have with our twin flame. So just to sum everything up here and share one final and very important message, if you are someone who is experiencing any or even all of this right now, know that the best thing you can do for yourself is practice non-judgment with yourself and these experiences, because the easiest trap we can fall into as we are processing all of this heavy, intense energy, as we are healing, as we are shifting through this sacred yet often painful space of twin flame separation, is to judge ourselves for what we are feeling or experiencing, to tell ourselves something must be wrong, that we must be doing something wrong, that we have to fix ourselves, that we must be irreparably broken. And none of that is true. That is simply our ego laying its own judgments, very often judgments that were first created by society and then programmed into us, laying those judgments onto a very unique, individualized, highly spiritual experience that society in general does not understand or have a framework for understanding, and that many other people around us may not understand as well. So I want you to know you are not alone on this journey. You are never alone. I am here to support you. I do create twin flame readings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel, and podcast episodes like this one on Tuesday and Thursday, also at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have created and are continuing to build a beautiful community of twin flame souls here on this channel. So I hope that you will consider subscribing to join this community here as we uplift, support one another, and simply share our experiences along this journey. I also would highly recommend creating some kind of a morning meditation practice, especially if you are in some period of perceived disconnect from your twin. Although I really recommend meditation for absolutely everyone. I personally meditate every single morning with a 7-chakra clearing subliminal I've created. I created this in the fall and started using it on a daily basis last November. And since meditating with this subliminal, I have noticed immense shifts, changes, and transformations in every area of my life. For those of you who don't know, subliminals are very unique meditations because, unlike traditional spoken affirmations within a usual meditation track, they contain unconscious affirmations, meaning affirmations your conscious mind can't hear. But because your conscious mind can't hear them, it cannot reject them. So these affirmations are able to pass more easily into the subconscious layer of the mind, which is so essential because it's actually the subconscious that is directly connected with our energy field. So when we talk about all of this energy shifting, healing, transformation that is taking place beneath the surface during twin flame separation, subliminals are a powerful tool for assisting you in continuing to release those energy blocks within yourself, to essentially magnetize your energy for your twin flame love connection and ultimately more harmonious, manifested physical reunion in the 3D as well. So to assist you with this, I've created a 7-chakra twin flame clearing subliminal. I will leave a link to this subliminal in the pinned comment and description box. It comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. So I have subliminals for physical appearance changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, for energy clearing, even clearing out specific chakra centers. And of course, for twin flames specifically, I have several subliminals dedicated exclusively to the twin flame path. So again, the link to this twin flame 7-chakra clearing is in the pinned comment and description. You can try out this subliminal or any that I've created completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast video.